Unfortunately, one of the calls we receive very often in this office follows a mistake in the prescription drugs that were prescribed or given at the pharmacy. So let's talk about how those work so you can have an idea on what you would do to pursue those. While we do handle very serious injury cases, and oftentimes prescription drug mistakes can have horrible unintended consequences, this is not a case that we usually handle because we choose not to handle medical malpractice cases. But I do like to provide information so that if you look for a lawyer, you know what to look for, you know what questions to ask. And also, if you're having trouble finding a lawyer, I'd like to be able to explain why. First of all, there's two ways prescription drug mistakes most often occur. One is the doctor wrote the wrong script. They gave you either the wrong drug or the wrong dosage, or they didn't check to see what other medications you were receiving, and the two drugs, one drug was contraindicated with the other. In other words, you never should have been given both of those drugs in those dosages at the same time. The other type of mistake happens where there was nothing wrong with the script that the doctor wrote, but the pharmacy made a mistake. They filled it wrong. They weren't paying close enough attention. And again, many of the same elements and types of variations exist with pharmacists and pharmacies as with doctors, hospitals, and medical providers. Now, in spite of how often those occur, those are still very expensive cases. It may not seem fair to anybody that how much it costs to pursue the case would affect their ability to pursue it if someone caused them an injury or affect their ability to get a lawyer. But that's the reality of the situation, that if you're going to have to hire an expert in pharmacology, basically a pharmacist, and if you're going to have to hire an expert in that area of medicine, you're going to be spending tens of thousands of dollars or more to prove the case. So where the doctor, pharmacist, or some variation of both, some combination of both screws up, but where the ultimate injury is not extreme and not severe, usually you're going to have trouble finding a lawyer to help you. Now, if you talk to a lawyer in this area of the law, you may want to ask them what they think of the case, who they think the potential responsible parties would be, what is their plan of action, what they think they would do if in fact you did work with them. And I'd ask them, have they handled similar cases in the past? There are enough of these cases out there that you ought to be able to find a lawyer that has experience in handling these cases. And above everything else, at least 51% of this, once you know they have the requisite experience, they're able to think through your questions and give you clear and concise answers. Make sure you go with your gut. It's got to not just be the right lawyer to handle the case, it's got to be the right lawyer for you. So make sure you're talking to somebody on the phone, in person, whatever the case may be, that you say to yourself, you know, this lawyer, he or she seems really bright, seems to understand this case. This is not the first time they've handled this. They seem like they're with it. And you know what? I could work with this person for the next 2 years, because if the case is worth pursuing, you'll want to do it with someone that you're comfortable communicating with.